Welcome back to the Godzilla Torino Racing channel. We're gonna be working on the hood, the Boss 429 hood. It's basically a lightened up standard hood from a 72 with a Boss 429 fiberglass scoop put in. And but before I get started, I'm just gonna do a hold start for everybody. The car's running pretty good. It's a little bit rough. I haven't dialed it in yet, but we still have a lot of work to do before we're ready to race. So this is just a little treat for the beginning of this hood scoop video. Here we go. Let me show you what's going on here. I talked about it in my previous update video. So I got a 72 Gran Torino hood, standard hood. It's right over here. You can see it's let me switch this camera so I can. Okay, so what we got here is 72 Gran Torino hood that's been lightened up. Let me show you what I did. It's you feel like spending $400 or $500 on a fiberglass hood, and I wanted something light that I can pull off and on. So what I did was I cut this hood, cut the inner bracing out of it. This is the inner bracing out of the hood, and that weighs about 20 pounds, give or take. And that's what makes that hood functional in an accident, or basically to just maintain its form while you're driving along during normal circumstances. So right now what we have is we have a hood that is pretty flimsy. Look at that. That guy is basically a potato chip. And in order to get it that light, that's what you got to do. And it's fine because I'm not going to be worried too much about wrecking it. If it wrecks, I got a roll bar, and I'm just basically taking my chances with that thing folding like you know, like basically like a piece of paper. So I'll take that risk to save the weight, because what I want to do is pull this hood off and on the car with just by myself. Normally, if you were going to take a regular hood off, you'd need you need two guys, at least two guys, to pull it off, because a standard hood with the bracing is about 75 pounds, and 75 pounds isn't that heavy, but because of the length of it, it puts a lot of you need a lot of leverage to lift it. So to go from like 75 pounds to about 40 pounds is a huge difference. So the process to take this bracing off is pretty simple. Let me show you guys what we have here. It's I've already cut out for the hood scoop, which that reduces the integrity quite a bit more than just taking out the bracing. But I needed the extra height with the hood scoop, and I didn't like the way the flanges. Here's the hood scoop, and I had it on the hood before with the flange riveted to the top of a different hood, and it just looked pretty ugly, because it's really hard to conceal that flange and make it look, presentable. So the reason I cut it out, I cut out this for the this hood was because I wanted to like hide the flange on the bottom side of the hood and have it looking a lot more, you know, a lot better. Still not going to win any show awards, but it's going to be functional. So what we had to do is we had to take all, see where all these this is basically a glue that the inner bracing was glued to the bottom of the hood, and then it's pinch welded around the edges. So what we did was we cut this out with the die grinder and a sawzall, and it's kind of a little bit rough, so I plan on doing a little bit more grinding to get that a little smoother. But I'm also going to just take some fuel line and split the fuel line and run it across there, so that I have a grab, so that if I grab onto that hood, I don't cut myself. And but getting these this glue off, initially I made the mistake. Don't make this mistake. Do not try to use a chisel and chisel that out, because what you end up is what it looks like hail damage, and it's just from the chisel trying to separate. And I can't really see it in this, but there's a bunch of little chisel or little divots in the metal, which it's for a race car, so I'm not too concerned. I'm going to be able to knock down the high parts and fill it. And if it cracks or looks a little crummy over time, I'm not too worried about it. But the solution to that, to where you don't get any, you know, external damage to the hood, is which I should have done it in the very beginning, is you can take and you look at this. So your hood would be here, and then you have all your glue. So where my glove is, all your glue is on these edges. And the solution was that what I did is I took a sawzall blade with about an 8-inch blade. I think it might have been a 10-inch blade, and you can curve it in, and put my hand through here. You can curve it in so that it slides along the edge, and it will just cut that glue and conform to the dimensions of the hood, and it doesn't do any damage to the hood at all, and it just slices that glue right off. And that's what I should have done in the beginning, and that's what I ended up doing, because the chisel technique was, not only was it not working very well, it was leaving damage. So now what we got going on is we gotta put this hood back here against this coat rack, and so I got some, what I'm gonna end up doing is got some mat here, fiberglass mat. I'm gonna cut that out, and we're gonna put that in the hole for the hood scoop, and we're going to put the hood scoop through there. But I'm going to laminate the mat first, and then I'm going to run my rivets through the laminated mat and the hood scoop and the hood. And while the mat and the resin is still curing, I'll be able to secure it with the rivets. And then once it hardens, it'll create a permanent bond to the hood. And then after that, we're going to put kitty hair in the top to smooth out that transition from the hood scoop to the metal hood. So it's a little bit of a process. I'm not trying to do show quality work here. We're just going to try to make it functional and make it strong enough so that hood scoop never separates from the hood. It might flop around, it might be a little flimsy, it might even crack, but it's not going to come off. And I've seen that happen. I've seen full-on fiberglass hoods jettisoned, 50 feet in the air when people don't have them secured properly, or they don't address the issues of the hood being properly secured. And so we're not going to have that problem. And in one of my previous videos, you can see even a hood that is pinned, if you forget a pin, if you forget to put the cotter pins or the locks on a pinned hood, you're going to have problems. I have a video where the car's pushing 120 and the rear corner of the hood was lifting off the car. And if you did that to a front pin, you might lose your hood entirely. So it might, with this particular hood, the way that I'm building it, and with it's not going to be very structurally sound. It will probably fold in half if I forget one of them front pins. So we just will try not to do that. And if I do it, it'll be on video, so you guys can all get a laugh, and maybe I'll get a viral video out of the deal. But I'd rather not, deal with it, because even though everybody signs waivers when you go to the racetrack, I don't want, my, $100 hood to wreck somebody else. So we'll talk to you guys. I'm going to show you a little bit the process, but I'll talk to you guys later. For this part of this video, I'm out. So what we got here is I'm laying down a layer of matte, fiberglass matte, and I'm gonna laminate it with resin. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit cold because I'm gonna put that hood scoop in there, and then I'm gonna poke the rivets through the mat that's not cured, and secure it, and then when that resin hardens, it'll create a permanent bond. Well, that's the theory. We'll see how it works. When you're broke, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I got a old container for roasted, salted, mixed nuts. Whew. I forgot how crazy fiberglass resin is. So what I like to do is I like to mix it up with like at least a minute, you know, with the brush, and then at least a minute with the brush, and then we can start applying the resin. But I'm going to wear this because this stuff is toxic. So I did not really take measurements on the resin, on the catalyst. I put about a cap full of catalyst in about, I think this is about 16 ounces of resin maybe. So we'll see how this works. So I just mix it up real good and put it on there. So a day later is what I got. Just need to sand all this stuff down. But now we have a bond between the hood and the hood scoop. Just a thin layer of matte and resin, and then it's been riveted to this here is just a thin layer of matte. Where my hands are. Layer of matte that's bonded to the hood, and then with those rivets in place, this should never become separated. So as an alternative, you can purchase a fiberglass hood from US Body Source for the 72 Gran Torino. It's going to cost you about $400 plus shipping. So out the door, you're probably looking at around $500, $600, $700 versus less than $200 for my solution. I have probably about a half a day's worth more work of sanding and then going to paint it. So I'll post that in a new video further down the line. But go ahead and subscribe to the channel and see how this goes. I need as many subscribers as possible, trying to get to 1,000. And this is kind of messy stuff, but I appreciate everybody who's subscribed and liked.